Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
And all the wonderful devotees assembled. Maharaj, we are very happy to welcome you and very grateful that you have accepted this very special program. Everyone is very excited. So we have called it the 3 decades of Yatras, a journey from 1989 to 2019. And we have the august presence of several hundreds of, then probably be thousands of devotees, but especially our most cherished Vrindavan Sevaks who have been helping us all along. So today the program will be that Grace Gauranga Prabhu will we'll have a discussion with His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj on the various aspects of the Yatra, his Maharaj's vision, his mood, his desires, and all his, of course, his memories. That will be the core of the program. So, Gauranga Prabhu, over.
Years of yatras which we have been enjoying in your association to so many holy places, right from the late 80s all the way till 2019 Vrindavan Yatra. So I would like to begin by asking you this question that, the first time when you experienced Srila Prabhupada's association in Vrindavan Dham, so at that point, what was the experience like with Srila Prabhupada on a Dham Parikrama? So I'll begin with that question for all of us to hear your experiencing the Parikrama with Srila Prabhupada.
Gauranga Prabhu पचारुचंती महाराजंको आपनकर एक्सपीरियंस श्रीला प्रभुपाद सहित आपण यात्रा करिसंती न आपनकर अनुभव आप मन सहित आपण माने बांटंतु ए प्रश्नरो श्री गौरांग प्रभु प्रारंभ कले एबे महाराज मंगलाचरण परे आमन उद्बोधन देबे आजिर टॉपिक होउची बहुत एक्साइटिंग बहुत आनंददायक 30 वर्ष हला श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ यात्रा है आसुची यात्रा रे विभिन्न प्रकार आनंदमूलक अनुभव रही। आज महाराज कृष्ण चंद्र प्रभु श्री गौरांग प्रभु यही महान भक्त दिग्गज भक्त मान द्वारा आज आम शुणा वृंदावन कृपार वन यह सहित 30 वर्ष यात्रा 30 वर्ष अर्थ 3 दशंधि यात्रार अनुभव बा एक्सपीरियंस। महाराज प्रारंभ कर बहुत कृतज्ञ आपण मान सहित रहा आपण मान बहुत खुशी जे लादिन देवी दासी यही संघ रे जॉइन कर समस्त भक्त को मोर कृतज्ञता। यही यात्रा गुड़िक यात्रा प्रभुपाद कृपा बांटार एक अद्भुत प्रकार महिमा हिसाब से प्रारंभ होता एवं मोर जो आध्यात्मिक जीवन भारत रे अच्छी यात्रा गोटे सरल साधु भाव गोटे तीर्थ स्थान रु आ गोटे तीर्थ स्थान को एवं पुणी से जड़े आउ जड़े साधु को पाइबी पुणी सहित किसी भल भल तीर्थ क्षेत्र बुलबी पुणी आउ गोटे सिलेक्ट कला मुझे पलैजी आ से प्रकार से जहाँ भजन जानी करूए यही प्रकार गोटे स्थान रु आउ गोटे स्थान अर्थात गोटे तीर्थ स्थान रु आउ गोटे तीर्थ स्थान को भ्रमण करूए तेबे यही प्रकार भाव उत्तर भारत पश्चिम भारत एवं दक्षिण भारत एमती मु ट्रावेल करूए वास्तव में एमती यात्रा करुवा बेले मु अंबरनाथ रास्ता रे पशुपतिनाथ जावा बेले मथुरा संस्पर्श रे आसली बा मथुरा जगह रे पहुंचलु एवं हाँ आपन जानती स्टोरी टी से वृंदावन में मते टाइफॉइड फीवर हैला मु जाई परली ना मते फोर्सफुली विदा माने ट्रेन रु बाहर कर दिया आइथिला तेणु मु टाइफॉइड रे पड़ी था वृंदावन रे आ से समय रे गोटे महान भक्त जो शिला प्रभुंकर शिक्षा आई मीन गुरु भ्राता आती मुझे देखता से 3 रु 4 घंटा प्रातः समय कीर्तन कर केवल तीर्थ स्थान जाऊ था भ्रमण माने दर्शन करने कीर्तन करूँ ये करूँ अनुभव रु मो जीवन सब गुरुत्वपूर्ण डिसीजन मुझे गुरुत्वपूर्ण निर्णय नहीं से लैंड वृंदावन मत भक्ति मिलता मिली से वृंदावन रहिबार सौभाग्य जो मत भक्ति मिली एवं मो मन भितर मु निर्णय नेली मो जीवन सारा जो बाकी जीवन रहा मु वृंदावन के परित्याग करी ना अनेक वृंदावन अनेक जगह को भ्रमण कर समय स्टोरी पढ़ी कथा पढ़ी यही प्रकार मोर जीवन बीती से समय यही वृंदावन रही शिला प्रभुपाद मो जीवन रे आसिले वृंदावन जो शिला प्रभुपाद आसते 50 वर्ष है से समय 30 जन पाखापाखी वेस्टर्न डिवोटी फॉरेन डिवोटी प्रथम थर पे ग्रुप भाव वृंदावन आस्थांती प्रभुपाद आनिक आस्थांती से ऑस्ट्रेलियन जने साधु था ना होचंदी से थांती मु थाए आउ जने असीम कृष्ण प्रभु 3 जन आ से समय 30 जन फॉरेनर डिवोटी आसिले आ से समय ब्रजवासी माने सेते बेले फॉरेन लोकन को एते देखि नथिले किंतु हम मान को से माने ग्रहण कर देथिले जेते बेले श्रीला प्रभुपाद गोटे 30-40 जन विदेशी भक्त मान को नै कि ऑस्ट्रेलिया अफ्रीका न्यूयॉर्क अमेरिका रो नै कि आसिले सेते बेले सेटा गोटे यात्रा सेटा गोटे माने विभिन्न माने शॉक हेतिले आश्चर्य हेतिले लोक माने अरे कोन ये समस्त पालन करथले उत्सव पड़े हेतिला कोन से कोन करिसंती एपरि इतिहास रे केई करि नाहंती एई परि भाव रे वृंदावन रे पूरा सिहरण हे हेतिला तेनु वृंदावन रा ग्लोरी को शिला प्रभुपाद प्रकृत रे देइचंती एवं दुनिया को वृंदावन पाकु आनिचंती तेरे वृंदावन केवल एक तीर्थ क्षेत्र नुहे यह दृढ़व्रता साधक मानक पई जो माने भक्ति प्रैक्टिस करचंती कोनोसी देश जाति धर्म निर्विशेष रे यह होची पूजार क्षेत्र प्रत्येक प्रातः समय रे मंगलारती हुए एवं भक्त माने मदन मोहन को पाखापाखी भक्त मान से रोथा से जगह से गोटे व्यक्ति घरे रोता भक्त मान तापरे प्रभुपाद कौन करेंगे मंगलारती पर श्रीमद भागवत क्लास देवे तापरे ब्रेकफास्ट हम तापरे ब्रेकफास्ट पर श्रीला प्रभुपाद व्यक्तिगत भाव में विभिन्न स्थान को नहीं कर जीवे व्यक्तिगत भाव समस्त को एवं राधा दामोदर विभिन्न मंदिर रे व्यक्तिगत भाव में बुझेबे एठी या हेतिला एठी एई लीला हेतिला प्रभुपाद कोठी रहितिले एमती पुंखानुपुंख बुझौतिले तेबे आपण भाबंतु 6 वर्ष जतबले शिला प्रभुपाद रहुतिले विदेश जीवा पूर्वरु से प्रत्येक दिन राधा दामोदर मंदिर रूप गोस्वामी को प्रार्थना करते जे मते से आशीर्वाद मते से रूपा दियंतु जे मो गुरु महाराज संदेश भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती महाराज संदेश को भगवान संदेश को पाश्चात्य देश लोक मान पाखरे पहुंचे पारे जोटा मो गुरु महाराज आदेश और कितने प्रभुपाद प्रार्थना करिसंती जे प्रार्थना शक्ति रे सारा दुनिया रो सारा विश्वर लोक आज वृंदावन पाखु पळे आछन आ प्रथम थर पाई भावंतु आज रो समय रे प्रथम थर पाई से 30-40 जन भक्तों को वृंदावन को आनी चंती सही समय से बहुत लोग शिला प्रभुपाद अत्यंत खुशी थांती आमे रूप गोस्वामी प्रति गुरु प्रति राधाराणी प्रति कृतज्ञता को अनुभव करूँ से केते कृतज्ञ थांती जैसे सारा दुनिया भक्त मान को वृंदावन धाम क्षेत्र को दर्शन करोचन नंदग्राम वृंदावन ग्राम रे विभिन्न प्रकार आध्यात्मिक क्षेत्र धर्म क्षेत्र को लेके जाते गोकुल महावन ब्रह्मांड घाट अनेक जगह को लेके जाता ब्रह्मांड घाट रे गोटे स्टोरी अच्छी केते खुशी थिले प्रभुपाद तो देखिले सारा भक्त माने समस्ते जमुना रे गाधौचंती केते खुशी प्रभुपाद होतांती प्रत्येक दिन शिला प्रभुपाद जमुना रे गाधेई के तंकर प्रणाम करूथांती आ एमिति इंटेंस प्रार्थना करूथांती कि तांकर स्वप्न सारा दुनिया रे प्रचार करिबा गुरु महाराज ऑर्डर ए आज्ञा को पालन करिया पई शिला प्रभुपाद केते प्रयास करछिन आज भक्त माने आसीछन्ती शिला प्रभुपाद बुझी पारिथिले ये होउची प्रारंभिक समय सारा संसार को वृंदावन रो कबाट खोलुची वृंदावन द्वार खोलुची प्रभुपाद बहुत खुशी थांती तेबे गौरांग प्रभु आपन कोन पचले मोर अनुभव ओके मु कोन कहि पारे एटा होची समय जोडी मु प्रभुपाद को शरणागत हेतिली मो हृदय रो मु प्रभुपाद को शरणागत कली एठी मोर गुरु आध्यात्मिक गुरु को स्वीकार करथिली शिला प्रभुपाद को जे मोर से आध्यात्मिक गुरु आ तांको मिसिवा पूर्वरु मु केते धर्म क्षेत्र केते आध्यात्मिक क्षेत्र सारा भारत रे घुरी बुलुतली आ मु वृंदावन रे ब्रजवासन को मिसिबा बुलिबा एया थिला आ वृंदावन रे शिला प्रभुपाद को शरणागत कली आसला प्रभुपाद को शरणागत हेली प्रभुपाद से धर्म क्षेत्र बुलेले किंतु हाँ वास्तव में मते वृंदावन को छाड़ीबा को पड़ेला कारण मोर वीजा एक्सपायर हे गला मोर मन अछि घनश्याम बाबा कथा घनश्याम बाबा कहले जदि जदि तुमे वृंदावन छाड़ुछ ताले न्यू वृंदावन जा नुआ वृंदावन कारण मु सुनिछि जे तुमर गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद अमेरिका रे नुआ वृंदावन करछिन तुम सेठी की जा तापरे घनश्याम बाबा असिले एवं कहले तुम सेठी पुजारी जा तेबे कोनोसी प्लान बिना मु पुनि जाई पहुंच जाइथिले से न्यू वृंदावन रे कोनोसी योजना नाही कोनोसी प्लान नाही कोनोसी किछि नाही मु पुजारी भी हे गली आ कारण मु विग्रह मानकर सेवा करथली पुजारी थिली मते कुहा जाइतिला मु केबे भी विग्रह को छाड़ी जीवन से जाई परिबिनी तेरे मते इटा शॉकिंग लगला सरप्राइज नुहे किंतु बड़े शॉकिंग है मतलब सरप्राइज लगन थिला किंतु शॉकिंग कारण हम भाबुथली जे नुआ वृंदावन मु जानि भी नथिली वर्तमान नुआ वृंदावन रहिबी वीजा पुन ठीक हैला परे मु वृंदावन पळे आसीबी एठी नुआ वृंदावन रे कहलेनी जे तुमे आउ जाई परिबनी किंतु सबदा आनंदपूर्ण कथा हला जेतबेले मु पहुंचली 1972 रे मुख्य प्रकल्प जोटा न्यू वृंदावन प्रभुपाद देइथिले भक्त मानकु जे से प्रकल्प को एपरी करा जाऊ जोटा कि वृंदावन रो गोटे पूरा एकदम रेप्लिका हबो वृंदावन रो गां परी वृंदावन परी बना जीवो तेनु भावंतु एटा हो जे मोर प्रारंभिक समय जोठी मोर ओरिएंटेशन ता मोर मनोभाव कराइला कि वृंदावन केमि तैयारी करा जीवो एठी मु जानिली तबे जहा ना काहे कि जेतबले मते अलाउ करा गला प्रथमे आसिया पई सन्यास नला परे इंडिया को आसिया पई भारत आसिया पई तबे मु बॉम्बे रो भक्त मानक सहित बड़ अंतरंग साथी बा साक्ष्य करिथिली सेतबेले इस्कन छोट एते यात्रा फात्रा नथिला किंतु मु मुंबई विजिट करूथली मुंबई जाउथली लोक मान को मिसिया पई जमा 8 जन भक्त थिले सेतबेले मु कहली चलो जिबा मायापुर जिबा समस्ते वास्तव में एई वर्ष होची चैतन्य महाप्रभुकर 500 जन्म वार्षिकी सेतबेले 8 जन भक्त थांती बॉम्बे रु आमे सेतबेले भाबुथुला 8 जन बहुत भक्त हो गले से समय होची 1986 मसिया तेबे पुणी कार्तिक रे आमे 25 जन भक्त को आनिलु मुंबई वृंदावन को तापर वर्ष तो सेते बेले अलग सिस्टम थिला आमे मंगलारती पूर्व आमे जाउथुलु दर्शन करिया पई आउ आमे आसुथुलु मध्यरात्रि परे आउ सेई रास्ता रे यात्रा रे सेठी क्लास सेठी गाधुइबा सेठी बुलिबा सेठी सबु आउ से 25 जन भक्त तापर 1987 मसिया हमर आउट यात्रा हला आमे गले हिमालय को आमे तो परे टिके डिस्कस करिबा तापरे आमे गलु जगन्नाथ पुरी श्री जगन्नाथ धाम यही सब प्रेरणा मु केमिति पाइली ना श्रीला प्रभुपाद हमको प्रथम यात्रा रो आरंभ करैथिले मु तांको सहित श्रीला प्रभुपाद जतो यात्रा नेथिले सेठी मु मिसथिली तेणु प्रभुपाद प्रेरणा रे मु यात्रा आरंभ करिछि एटा कथा गौरांग प्रभु आपनकर एही क्वेश्चन आ गौरांग प्रभु कहउछन्ती बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद महाराज आपनकर एही मेमोरी पई बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद तबे मो पाखर लिस्ट अछि महाराज आपन को यात्रा को नै चंद केबे केबे 1986 रु 92 पर्यंत मु आपन को अनुरोध करूची जे किछि मुख्य मुख्य कथा यदि आपन शेयर कर परिबे तेबे अनेक यात्रा महाराज आपन नै चंती 92 रे जो यात्रा आपन नेले गौरांग प्रभु कहउछन मु जाईतिली मोर अनुभव अछि जे हमें बस जाईतिले द्वारका जाईतिले एवं सेई पाखा पाखी जगह भ्रमण करथिले तेनु सेई प्रारंभिक समय 6-7 वर्ष रे आपन जो मुख्य मुख्य किछि स्मरण अछि प्लीज शेयर करंतु महाराज को बहुत गुडी मेमोरी अछि तेबे जेतले हमें द्वारका गलु मोर माने अछि आमे प्रथमे डाकोर गलु तापर रणछोड़ गलु आउ रणछोड़ होचंदी सुप्रसिद्ध माने स्वयंभू मूर्ति इष्टदेव तापर बलराम महाराज को भ्रमण गलु डाकोर पर आम द्वारका जाइलु आम गोटे बोट नहीं जाइलु पोर्ट द्वारका सुदामा विप्रंकर घर को जाइलु सुदामा विप्र घरे आम पूरा कथा आम विस्तृत भाव में कही महात्मा गांधी कथा से महात्मा गांधी घर प्रोजेक्ट क्षेत्र जाइलु प्रोजेक्ट क्षेत्र हूँ एते सुंदर जगह जो पौराणिक कथा अच्छी महात्म्य अच्छी जो कह जाए जे कृष्ण से अंतर्ध्यान होते तेरे आम गोटे भक्त को कहलु आम से जगह को लेकिन चल सी आम नहीं गला कि समय पर रिभर देखी खोजे यही जगह लेकिन भावुली यहीटा तो मत लगुन यही जगह बोली तबे मु पचार को आरंभ कली यही जगह कई जानना कौन हूँ कौन ना तेरे कौन सी पटे केमी आम नुआ जगह पाईगलु जोटा प्रकृत जगह तेरे जहा हो बहुत सुंदर यस मोर मन अच्छी जे सोमनाथ मंदिर द्वारका एते सुंदर सोमनाथ टेम्पल मो मन अच्छी हम जाइतिले आम निर्जल एकादशी में जाइतिलु फास्टिंग करूतिलु उपवास थिला कौन से पानी बा कौन से अन्न नहीं किंतु से समय में 4 घंटा 3 घंटा 5 घंटा कीर्तन कथा चल चल के जाओ जीवा कीर्तन करवा नाचिबा एते गरम थाए तथापि आनंद सहित भक्त माने करथां प्रत्येक व्यक्ति भक्त यही तपस्या गुड़ी को बड़ा सुंदर सहित ग्रहण करता तेरे महाराज थैंक यू आपन जो ये द्वारका ट्रिप रो मेमोरी को रिफ्रेश कले तेरे महाराज एबे 93 रु 97 महाराज कारण हिस्टोरिक ऐतिहासिक यात्रा है 90 तापरे हमें 93 रु 97 पे मोर आश्रम जॉइन कला पर मध्ये एटा गोटे प्रथम यात्रा सो केमिति प्रत्येक स्टेशन रे ट्रेन अटकला माने हम हरिनाम संकीर्तन करथुलु आ जय पताका महाराज केमिति मायापुर रे बड़ा सुंदर स्वागतम करथिले सो प्लीज सेही मेमोरी टिके शेयर करियो मायापुर ट्रिप टाको जोटा जय पताका महाराज हमको भक्तिचारू महाराज एवं जय पताका महाराज हमको स्वागत करथिले तबे महाराज कहउछंती एटा गोटे बहुत इंटेंस तीव्र मेमोरी मोर एसोटेरिक बैकग्राउंड परम पूज्य जय पताका महाराज एवं परम पूज्य भक्तिचारू महाराज ए माने प्रत्येक भक्तंकर हृदय को द्रवीभूत करथिले कारण आमे माने पकापाकी इस्कन रो बहिर्भूत होइतिलु गोटे वर्ष पकापाकी आ से माने एते सम्मान रो सह प्रेम रो सह माने एकदम अंतरंगर सह हमको केवल ग्रहण करते से नो प्रसादम पाखर रहिबा केयर करिबा सब जिंस करथिले आ एते यात्रा हम सब करथिलु आमे प्रत्येक सकाळ जपा करी बाहर जाउतलु एवं रात्रि आस्तुलु किंतु मोर मने अछि भक्तिचारू स्वामी महाराज आसिले आम सहित एवं बहुत दिन माने बारंबार आसी कथा देले आम सहित बुलिले महाराज जय पताका महाराज को आनी के आसिले एवं मोर मने अछि बोधे हंस वाहन आस्तिले जाइतिले से बहुत बड़ा बर गछ अछि बढ़िया स्टोरी अच्छी सुंदर स्टोरी अच्छी हमर प्रत्येक दिन मन अच्छी जे जयपता परम जयपता महाराज को मिसुए भक्तिचारू महाराज को मिसुए से पचारू था कौन दरकार कि समस्त खुशी अच्छा तो केमी आम कौन सेवा करें कौन हो पार एते सुंदर बहुत सुंदर ये मायापुर यात्रा समय रे एते स्पेशल एते विशेष आमे साधारणतः 3 ରୁ 4 घंटा कीर्तन लेक्चर माने मध्यरात्रि लंबा रात्रि पर्यंत आम करता गौरा आरती आम करता कारण गौरा आरती मायापुर माने प्रारंभ होइछि तेनु बहुत स्पेशल एवं ता पूर्व मध्य मोर मन अछि हमर एनीवे कथा कहया पूर्व मोटे छोटे जिन लिखी पढ़ा चाहूँगी 1987 मसीहा पखापाखि जो आम हिमालय यात्रा करूँ मत भावुँ 30 जन भक्त पखापाखि थे ऋषिकेश रु देवप्रयाग गलु ऋषिकेश गलु देवप्रयाग रु आम ज्योतिमठ गलु मोर मन अच्छी ज्योतिमठ रु आम बद्रीनाथ जो चेष्टा करूँ किंतु सूर्य पराग सॉरी आमर संध्या हो तेणु बंद हो तेणु आउ जापरेनि जदि काली पर्यंत जापरेनि तेणु आम ज्योतिमठ रे अटकी गलु किंतु से केमिति के जाने शंकराचार्य मिसी गलु तेणु मुझे कहली नृसिंह आज हो जन्म नृसिंह चतुर्दशी ये कौन नृसिंह देव मंदिर अच्छी कि शंकराचार्य इष्टदेव होती नरसिंहदेव तेरे आमको अभिषेक सकल सकल सब मिलला हरि कथा कीर्तन बद्रीनाथ गलु दिन आ बहुत भक्त मन रखी सबुठारु से भक्त माने केबे स्नो माने बरफ देखि नथिले आ जेते बेले हमें बॉम्बे रु बाहरलु ऋषिकेश समस्त कहता हमें बरफ देखिबू हम बरफ देखिबू आगे के कहता अरे ऋषिकेश रे बहुत गरम तापर हम बद्रीनाथ गलु तापर कहले ठंडा हिची आ जेते आमे आलोकनंदा रे गाधेवा को गलु सेते बळे गोटे स्नो स्टॉर्म हैला मो घर चिकागो रे मु जन्म ही बढ़ी माने बरफ देखी तेरे आम हाबिट आलोकनंदा रे फ्रिजिंग कोल्ड किसी कथा नहीं सांगे सांगे ठंडा गाधे पड़ली किंतु भक्ति तेरे बद्रीनाथ मंदिर रे कहगला जे कपड़ा बिना सुखी तुम आसे पड़ो प्रत्येक भक्त कहता अरे बाप रे ये बरफ बंद हम केते से समय प्रसाद विसर्जित है गोटे घर समस्ते पुरुष माने प्रभु माने गोटे घरे माताजी माने बहुत तपस्या पूर्ण बड़ा आनंददायक एक्साइटिंग प्रयाग को गलु आम केदारनाथ जाक भावुलु तेरे से रास्ता बंद थिला गंगोत्री गलु मसूरी तेबे जागा नथिला आमे हेलिकॉप्टर टायर रे सोइलु गंगा मंदिर किछि व्यस्त थाए सेतुरे गंगा गलु तापर आमे गोमुख गलु तापर गंगोत्री कथा कीर्तन नृत्य सब चली था तापरे आमर बस जमुनोत्री गले बहुत बहुत विशेष कारण सेठी 15 किलोमीटर चलीबा को पड़िबो तेरो हनुमान ट्रक्स रे से जगह को तेणु मन अच्छी अपेक्षित भाव कम परिमाण भक्त तेणु बड़ आंतरिक यात्रा प्रत्येक यात्रा से समय रे टाइम शेड्यूल केबे न था कौन सी टाइम शेड्यूल न था तेबे ऑर्गेनाइजर माने भाबुते शेड्यूल करिबा टाइम करिबा प्लान करिबा किंतु केबे भी फॉलो हो न था कारण प्रत्येक जिंस बस राधारानी को कृपारू कृष्ण को कृपारू होता है तेणु कहा प्लान चलियो तेबे आउ गोटे यात्रा रे आमे से समय रे अयोध्या जाइथिलु जाको भूली हबनी अविस्मरणीय तेबे आमे राम सीतांकर लक्ष्मणकर जो पास टाइम लीला अच्छी घंटा घंटा धरी हमें श्रवण करथाउ कीर्तन करथाउ सरायुरी घर कूलरे आउ से समय रे से यात्रा समय मोर मन अछि अयोध्या लोक भाबले एटा बहुत लोक तेबे से समय रे विश्व हिंदू परिषद प्रेसिडेंट जे थिले अध्यक्ष से हमको देखिले एवं कहले आम मन को से धन्यवाद दउथांती शुभेच्छा दउथांती कहतां जे जाओ सो मेनी पीपल बहुत लोगों को अपन अयोध्या आनिया पे धन्यवाद तेबे से यात्रा पर आमे नैमिषारण्य गलु सेटा मध्य केते विशेष नैमिषारण्य वन जोठी श्रीमद् भागवत मु कुहाइची आउ मु मोर मने पडुनी जे प्रारंभिक समय रे की जाइथिला व्यवस्था करथिला आमे जस्ट पहुंच जाउथि कम लोक आम पई कम लोक किंतु लोक माने सेठी जो देखुथि से मन होता एते लोक सेठी उते विशाल बर गछ अछि जो थरे विराट रस गछ तेबे सेठी जने के कथा देइथिले सेठी रिसेंटली तेनु समस्त सेटा से लोक माने से गछटा को काटी देइथिले एवं से जगहटा को कथा पई एकदम परफेक्ट बनेइथिले तबे हम सेठी बसिकरी भागवतम कथा करथिलु बहुत दिन पई बारंबार हम किछि करे पड़लानी सकाळ संध्या पर्यंत हम श्रीमद् भागवतम कथा ही करथिलु प्रतिदिन एवं सही समय रे चित्रकूट यात्रा हेतु जानकी कुंड जो अरविंद महाप्रतलाल एवं तंगर परिवार केते सेवा करथिले भक्तमान को पई लोकमान को पई सती अनुसया गोदावरी, चित्रकूट, कामगिरी, चित्रकूट पर्वत, भरत गुफा, स्पेशल, बहुत स्पेशल। जोड़ी जोड़ी हम जाइछु भक्त माने कीर्तन करछन्ती, नाचुछन्ती, आ जते बळे चैंटिंग सिंगिंग बंद हला कथा, तेणु कथा चैंटिंग सिंगिंग केबे बंद हेनी। तेबे प्रारंभ सकाळ प्रारंभ एवं मध्यरात्रि पर्यंत 24 आवर्स पाखापाखि यही कथा ही चलछि। आ सेतबळे कोई अनाउंसमेंट नहीं, जेतबळे ब्रेक हला त माने प्रसाद ता प्रसाद परे आमे जाउछु आ उडे जागा वाराणसी मत जाइथिले यात्रा। यदि महाप्रभु विद्युमाधव टेम्पल जो मैंने जप कला हजार हजार लोक कीर्तन को आकर्षित करते। सनातन गोस्वामी चैतन्य महाप्रभु जो इंस्ट्रक्शन देते से जगह में गाधेवा घाट जाइए। प्रत्येक जगह कीर्तन कथा गंगार कूल पूरा सुंदर भाव वाराणसी मैंने कथा करूँ कीर्तन करूँ। जो शिव भगवान शिव लीला काशी विश्वनाथ अभिषेक पूजा दिव भक्त मान द्वारा सब जिनस बड़ा सुंदर बहुत स्पेशल। कुंभ मेला को केते बार भक्त मान को लेके जाइछु, हरिद्वार प्रयाग समस्त मन अच्छे जो महाप्रभु चैतन्य रूप गोस्वामी को इंस्ट्रक्शन देते मोर मन अच्छी से कथा करिया बड़ चैलेंज थला, कारण लोक माने गहली करथले समाव कौन सी मते हमरा कंटिन्यू करलु। हम से कथा को किछि दिन से प्रयाग रे बितेलु। तेरे ये होज किछि स्मरण कथा मन अछि 1993 बहुत स्पेशल कहीं राधा गोपीनाथ मंदिर हम निजर से पर्यंत थिला। तेरे हमरा गोटे वर्ष रे दुईटा जता थिला 1986 रु 93 पर्यंत। जेतोले पूरी है प्रथम थर पे केते स्पेशल केते हरि क्षेत्र केते भक्ति क्षेत्र केते जगन्नाथ लीला केते कथा वाओ बहुत स्पेशल। समुद्र रे गाधेवा वाओ सब भक्त जो मन प्रथम थर जाइतिले जगन्नाथ को से माने पूरा प्रेम करी बसछथि। तेबे मो छड़ा बाकी समस्त जगन्नाथ दर्शन कले आउ जहा प्रसाद महा जगन्नाथ महाप्रसाद जीवन प्रथम दर टेस्ट कले वाओ। हरिदास ठाकुर सिद्ध बकुल तोटा गोपीनाथ बेड़ी हनुमान टेम्पल इतने सो स्पेशल। गुंडीचा मंदिर आई तोटा जगन्नाथ बल्लभ गार्डन प्रत्येक दिन सकाल प्रातः समय आम तोटा गोपीनाथ जपा कर कहीं यात्रा कम लोक को नहीं होता तेणु आम समस्ते समस्त मैंने एकत्र थिलु सकाल संध्या पर्यंत। 1993 मसीह आमे जाननु कोन है कि मायापुर पहुंच गलु आमे मायापुर पहुंचलु मायापुर पूरा कम्युनिटी आमको कीर्तन करेगी मैं स्वागत करते राधा गोपीनाथ वर्तमान की प्रकार अद्भुत कीर्तन राधा माधव को मंदिर प्रांगण रे की कीर्तन ही आठ स्पेशल कौन है परम पूज्य भक्तिचार्य महाराज परम पूज्य जय पताका महाराज विभिन्न प्रकार उत्सव पालन कले पूजा कले भक्त मान ए सुंदर वेलकम स्वागत थिला गदाम प्रभु थैंक यू महाराज हमको ए प्रकार नॉस्टैल्जिक मेमोरी लेना पाई मोर मने अछि ए मायापुर यात्रा समय रे आपण जो अद्भुत लीला माने कहउचंती किंतु आउ किछि अद्भुत दिव्य चैलेंज गुडा को अछि जोडा का यात्रा आस्तिला मो से गुडी को मत शेयर करिया को आपन को अनुरोध करूची जोटे मायापुर रो पुरी हम जाइथिले 1993 रे आ हमको जिबा को थिला कथा चलतिला हमको ट्रेन धरिया को थिला गोटे समय रे आपन को मने अछि हमर मने अछि गोटे बहुत सुंदर कथा चलतिला जे कृष्ण कले जेटा कृष्ण परफॉर्म कृष्ण गोटे अद्भुत लीला करथिले जब सब जिंस भूल होतला मोर मन अछि प्रारंभिक समय रे यात्रा प्रारंभिक जमा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन किछ नथिला आमे जस्ट जीवा आउ केमिति केमिति करके जेम जे समय आसीबो जहा 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 करके सोई जवा कोठी खाइ दवा कोन जदि खाइबानी सोइबानी नो प्रॉब्लम तबे से प्रारंभिक समय रे प्रत्येक भक्त ट्रेन ही जाउतला ट्रेन जाउतला मैं मोर मने अछि कृष्ण प्रभु तांका परिवार श्रीनाथ जी प्रभु तांकर फैमिली तांकर आम सहित से सेकंड क्लास ट्रेन रे जाउतले और से समय तो थर्ड क्लास ट्रेन थिला तबे आमे सब साथी रे थिलु रामर कथा थिला आमे ट्रेन रे जप करिबा जन्मा देवी और माता जी माने बढ़िया बढ़िया प्रसाद बनेबे और ट्रेन रे पैकिंग करके पठेबे से समय यात्रा तापरे देखि देखि बड़ हला तापरे राधा कृष्ण प्रभु और अभिराम प्रभु से माने ठीक ऑर्गेनाइज करिया को माने ऑर्गेनाइज करिया पे माने वॉलंटियर प्रसाद रहिबा खाइबा से समय रे सनत कुमार प्रभु सब बड़े बहुत इन्वॉल्व होतांती गोटे समय रे भक्त माने भी हम निज भितर कुकिंग करिया को आरंभ कले जले यात्रा बड़ होबा को आरंभ होला बेसी लोक होबा को आरंभ कले निजर यूटेंसिल निजे कुकिंग करिबा ए प्रकार प्रयास होला आ तापरे यात्रा टीम बड़ होबा को हे गला बड़ होला आज जेमती अछि सेमती पाखा पाखी अभिराम प्रभु एमन सब व्यवस्था करे आरंभ कले माने कुकिंग कले प्रसाद करे प्रसाद प्रस्तुत करिवे सब करे आरंभ कले मैनेजमेंट करे आरंभ कले हाँ एटा गोटे प्रकार विवर्तन इवोल्यूशन है जी किंतु चैलेंज सब अछि तबे मु केबे कोन यात्रा विषय भाबी पाबनी जोते चैलेंज नथिला बहुत लोक भी जानि ना कोन हेछि किंतु मोर अटेंशन को बहुत गुड़े आसी जोटा को मैनेज कराई बहुत चैलेंजेस बहुत मो हृदय प्रार्थना करछि भक्त को बंचांतु तेबे प्रत्येक यात्रा एटा होते पार्ट एंड पार्सल अंश विशेष नहीं कि ना में भगवान कृपा रे संपूर्ण भगवान कृपा हम छाड़ी दऊ तो मन अच्छे प्रथम थर वर्षना बोलू 25 भक्त को नहीं कौन सी व्यक्ति पाखे वर्षा कौन सी व्यक्ति वर्षना कौन जना भी नहीं वर्षना कौन वर्षना किए वर्षना कौन जना नहीं किंतु जेहेतु मुझे रोली मु समस्त को लेकिन पढ़ जाऊँ समस्त को लेकिन ब्रजरोटी कीर्तन कथा बड़ा स्वीट बहुत स्पेशल आम यात्रा मुख्य लक्ष्य था कि आम पूरा एकांतक जगार जो डेंजरस जगह थी से जगह बस कथा कीर्तन कर तो ट्रेन विषय गौरांग प्रभु यू कैन आपन कहि परिबे तबे आमे कोलकाता रो ट्रेन पुरी जीवा को थिला धरिबा को थिला किंतु जो समय कथा सरला आमे ठीक समय पहुंचवा कथा किंतु ट्रैफिक जाम हैला आ बस अटकी गला सबु भक्त सब जो ट्रेन रे बुक करथिले केही ट्रेन धरि पालेनी तेरे अभिराम प्रभु पिताजी सब अरेंजमेंट कले आउ गोटे ट्रेन से माने परवर्ती दिन आसीले पूरी तेणु एटा गोटे बहुत बड़ा अनुभव होइतिला तेणु जदि मु भाबुची सेही समय आमे दीटा यात्रा करथुलु वर्ष रे आमे माने दीटा यात्रा गोटे वर्ष रे करथुलु आमे आपन सहित तबे 1987 रे मु चाहूँ अपना एक चक्र विषय टे मेमोरी अपना कहतु तो संध्या समय सूर्यास्त भक्त मानकर टर्च अच्छी आपन गिरिराज महाराज सचिनंदन महाराज आपण नित्यानंद प्रभुंकर कृपार अनुभव शेयर करते गिरिराज महाराज कहले जे केमिति तांकर पूर्वपुरुष माने जो माने जुइस बैकग्राउंड थे अमेरिका को आसिले सचिन महाराज कहले जे तांकर पिता नाजी आर्मी रे थिले एवं से एक्सरसाइज जो होइतिला यूरोप रे सेथरे अंश ग्रहण करथिले जो जूस मन को मार दिया आइतिला ना आपण गोटे कथा कहले से समय रे जे एटा हो जे प्रकृत रे यूनाइटेड नेशन जे प्रभुपादंकर कृपार कारण रो समस्त एकत्रित होइचंती जे से समय जो कथा से समस्त पूरा आश्चर्य होइतिले कि की प्रकार अनुभव आपण जो शेयर कले एई तीन जन महाराज आपण ते आपण मानकर एक चक्र जो अनुभूति अछि एटा सब बेला हमरा मने रहियो थैंक यू गौरांग प्रभु ए मेमोरी पाई मोर मने पड़ुची जे सेई राती जेतोला हम एकत्र थिलु हमें अलग अलग धर्म क्षेत्र को जाउथलु एवं रात्रि समय रे से गच्छ मूल पाखक नाथलु जो ट्री जो गच्छ तो मु सुनथि जे नित्यानंद प्रभु दीटी गच्छ बनेले जो से खेला खेले करते छुआ मान करी गछर शाखा को आनी पद्मावती रिवर को आणुले कहते मु एटा हूँ कालिया रिवर जमुना पद्मावती कहते से गच्छ मूल आम बसी था जो आम मन अच्छी अमावास्या रात्र थाए तेणु पूरा कला बादल माने कला छाई जाइए कारण जन ना से माने गाँव रु 20 मिनिट बाट आ से समय माने पूरा चाष जमी सब आही पूरा साइलेंस से समय गिरिराज स्वामी नित्यानंद प्रभुंकर कृपा वर्णना कले सच्चिनंदन महाराज नित्यानंद प्रभुंकर मर्सी कृपा वर्णना कले मु जे मु कहितली जे एटा हो नित्यानंद प्रभु प्रभुपादଙ୍କର कृपा कारण ए दुनिया रे झगड़ा होची साधारण सबुआडे होची भारत पाकिस्तान भीतर झगड़ा केते ए प्रकार माने विपरीत माने पूरा शत्रु भारत पाकिस्तान भीतर आउ केबे हितला झगड़ा माने केते जनरेशन पूर्व एबे इस्राएल को देखो के झगड़ा चलछि कि सब जोटा कि केबे हितला प्रारंभ चलीछि 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 तेणु तेणु मु कहितली जे एठी नाजी सोल्जर रो गुटे पुत्र जे जूस बनकर पुत्र सहित बसिछि आम समस्त माने नाजीर सैनिक मान द्वारा आमे आमे भी जो मोर भी निज परिवार जू आम नाजी परिवार सैनिक माने आम मान परिवार को मार देथिले किंतु आमे एबे देखंतु आमे होचंदी बेस्ट फ्रेंड्स आमे कंप्लीटली बेस्ट फ्रेंड आमे समस्त को प्रेम करू विश्वास करू भरोसा करू काहे कि कृष्ण होचंदी केंद्र रे कृष्ण केंद्र रे आसंती पूर्व इतिहास पुराना कथा अमक तमक जेनेरेशन रे कथा ये सब जिनस मैटर करे ना फरक पड़े ना एटा होची नित्यानंद प्रभुंकर कृपा जोटा प्रभुपादक द्वारा एटी आसीछि आउ जो ए कथा हला पर जोटा गोटे मुख्य कथा जा हेला सेही समय रे अंधार रे गोटे लाइट थिला से किछि लोक टॉर्च बनौतले से माने कोन कोटला आम मुह को पकोतले गिरदान मा सस्तमा जा मो मुह को आमे कहलु आ आमे लोक मान सब डेइबा को आरंभ कले पूरा आ मुह बुझी त सह सह लोक देले सेठी से केते हस हेबे आमे गोटे माने पडिया रे बसिचु आउ गछ ऊपर बसिचु जो फील्ड रे पैडी फील्ड रे आ गोटे बड्ड साप आ विषाक्त साप हितो पाका पाकी जे कि आमर जो लोक माने बसचंती समस्त भीतरे आ सब माने पूरा मडा चढ़ा हेले लोक माने झकाझकी लोक मैंने बसी पूरा पैक होकरी जो साप जो आसला भक्त मान भीतर दे से समस्ते पूरा पैनिक समस्ते कृष्ण आश्रय देवाक आरंभ कले जिते कथा होता आम कथा को कंटिन्यू जारी रखिलु अनंत शेष रूप विस्तारित कर जे कि सबु साप मान राजा तेणु आम सबु भक्त मान नित्यानंद प्रभुकर कृपा वर्षा बोली भाविलु से यात्रा आम राम खेली जाइलु रामकेल रे गेस्ट हाउस में मालदार रही मालदारू बोधे गोटे घंटार ड्राइव हम तेबे सेठी रामकली जो रेप्लिका हेची सेठी सचिनंद महाराज एवं गिरिराज महाराज एवं आम समस्त पढ़िले से सबू माने समय सरीगला पर कही जेतबले मु कहली सेतबले सबूर लिमिट पार हो जाइतिला आउ अभिराम प्रभु मते मेसेज पठाउतले आम मान को जल्दी जल्दी बाहर पड़ो आ समस्ते कहउचंदी जे एटा कुछ बहुत डेंजरस विपदपूर्ण और एटा फॉरेस्ट राति रे जीवा भारी कष्ट किंतु से माने मते चिट्ठी पठाउचंदी किंतु किंतु मो पई एटा गोटे विशेष विषय आ सेठी चैतन्य महाप्रभु प्रथमे रूप और सनातन गोस्वामी मिस्थिले जीव गोस्वामी मिस्थिले तेणु एटा गोटे एते अद्भुत प्रकार अनुभव तेणु मु स्लीप को देखु नथली से माने मते बार बार चिट्ठी पठाउतले सत्यनारायण प्रभु गिरिराज महाराज मध्य सत्यनारायण महाराज में से कहउचंदी बंद कर किंतु मु कहता है हाँ बंद करुच्ची किंतु बंद हो न था किंतु जेतेबेले मु बंद सरीला सेतेबेले बेटा अंधार हो जाइछ पूरा तेरे बेंगली जो पुराना बस गुड़ाक से गुड़िक रे आसीबा मने अछि अभिराम प्रभु राधा कृष्ण प्रभु से माने अरेंज करथांती किछि हमर भक्त माने तांका हाथ रे बाड़ी थाए माने जे माने देखौ थान जे आमे पुलिस कांस्टेबल कारण हमको बस पाखु जिबा पे हबो हम मन सब चैंटिंग करथाउ जब हम बस रे पहुंचलु हमें जे अंधार रे घना अंधार रे राति रे ड्राइविंग करथाउ समस्ते भाबुतले जे बोधे आमे सेई दिन मर जिबा आ बस भीतर जो कीर्तन से पर कीर्तन एते तीव्र एते हृदय सहित कीर्तन सेटा केबे भी भूली हबना तबे कोनोसी असुविधा न होई बस भांगी पला लागुतला केबे केबे किंतु कोनोसी मते कोनोसी असुविधा न होई आमे जाई पहुंची गलु पहुंचलु आमे सेई ट्रिप रे मध्य पुणी गोटे बड़ बोट को लेके जाइलु से बोट रे समस्त 700 भक्त आ पूजा करते से सचिनंदन महाराज गोवर्धन पूजा थाए आमे गोवर्धन पूजा से बोट भीतर करता तेरे ओडिया ट्रांसलेशन किसी समय ପାଇଁ ଟିକେ बंद ରହିବ आपण माने इंग्लिश को सुनी पारंती बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हरे कृष्ण
holy places of interest are in and around Kolkata. The schedule from 25th to 29th will be 6 to 7 p.m. will be holy places visit to Srila Prabhupada's Leela, Sthalis by devotees who are speaking about those pastime places. 7 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. there will be Damodar Ashtakam, and then 7:30 p.m. onwards, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, and 29th of October, we would hear from His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, meditating on some of the live yatras which we have attended, but in spirit we will be all connected on, online. And registrations for this yatra opens on www.rgyatra.com. So you can please connect there. And also, as Maharaj said, the beautiful Vrindavan forest, which many of you are supporting. We are having Kartik festival starting from October 20th, going up to November 19th, organized by Haripriya Devi Mataji. So if any of you are interested to, visit Govardhan Eco Village for the Kartik festival, you can also visit the website and register yourself and come for some of beautiful experiences during Kartik. I would like to express my gratitude to Maharaj for giving your valuable time this evening and taking us down memory lane into beautiful experiences which got refreshed as we heard from you some glimpses of some of those pastimes, and heartful gratitude on behalf of all the devotees who have joined us. Over to you, Krishna Chandra Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
If I could just say something.
Yes, Maharaj, please.
I made a little list just before today's event of some of the places I remember that we visited during our yatras, Radha Gopinath congregation. Of course, we've already discussed some, but in North India, Rishikesh, Dev Prayag, Jyotimat, Gangotri, Yamunotri. In Vrindavan, many times we visited the 12 forests and so many of the holy places of Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, that was a challenge for the organizers because we would assign them to go to holy places that are very, very remote and sometimes very unknown to people, and somehow or other to get there. Vrindavan, Ayodhya, Naimisharanya. We went to Nandagram in Ayodhya. Varanasi, Prayag, Chitrakoot. We had a wonderful yatra to Jaipur. I remember His Holiness Giriraj Swami and His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami were there with us for that. And we visited the temples of the Goswamis. And during that yatra, we went to Karoli to see the original Madan Mohan. We've had a few yatras to Pandharpur. We've had yatra to Kolhapur, to Satara, where Bilvamangala Thakur wrote the Krishna Karnamrita on the banks of the Krishna and Vainva rivers. We had wonderful yatras to Nasik on the banks of the Godavari River, and Tapovan, Kalaram Mandir, and we visited Taket, where Jatayu left his body in the loving embrace of Lord Ramchandra. In Mayapur, we visited all the 9 islands of Navadvip, and we went to Ambika Kalna, the place of Gauridas Pandit, and Priya Ganja, Pyariganja, the place of Nakula Brahmachari. I remember when we went to Sri Khanda, we got there at night and the entire village, there wasn't even a road, there was just an earth pathway leading to Sri Khanda, and the entire village was on both sides of the pathways to welcome the devotees, because we were having kirtan. And all the residents, the Sri Khandavasis, they were offering artis and tossing flowers at, to the congregational chanting of the holy names of the devotees. We went to Jajigram, the place of Srinivasa Acharya, to Katwa, where Mahaprabhu took sannyas. Many times we went to Shantipur, the place of Advaita Acharya, Fuliyagram, where Haridas Thakur had his cave and where he was beaten in 22 marketplaces, Ekachakra and Ramakeli. We visited Bhuvaneshwar. We had full yatras in the city of Bhuvaneshwar, and Danda Bhanga, where Nityananda broke the Danda, Shakshi Gopal. We went to the various places of pilgrimage in Jagannath Puri. We went to Konark, Alalanath, Kirchor, Gopinath, and Ramuna, where I remember we spent an entire day having kirtan and kathas, and I remember the culmination was when all the devotees got to have the kheer that Madhavendra Puri, the same kheer that Gopinath stole from Madhavendra Puri, and Lord Chaitanya went into total ecstasy when he tasted it. And in Jagannath Puri, we went several times for Ratha Yatras also. And we had a brahmacharya yatra to Bangladesh. That was very, very special. I remember it was the winter and it was the record coldest days in the history recorded Bangladesh. And we were all there, and we began at Benapole, the place where Haridas Thakur was living in the forest, and Ramchandra Khan sent the prostitute to make him fall down, and he converted her. From Benapole, we went to the birthplace of Rupa and Sanatan Goswami. We went to Dhaka, to the Gaudiya Math, where Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada spoke on Srimad Bhagavatam, the first verse for 1 month. We went to Ketarigram, the birthplace of Srila Narottam Das Thakur, and the place where he installed the many deities, and Prematal, which is close by, under this tree, in the Padmavati River, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave his ecstatic love to Narottam Das Thakur. And what a joy it was, after years of hearing about it and reading about it, bathing in the Padmavati River where Narottam Das Thakur resides. We went to Chittagong, the birthplace of Pundarik Vidyanidhi, Vasudev Datta, and Mukunda Datta. We went to Sri Hatta and saw the birthplace of Jagannath Mishra. We saw the birthplace of Murari Gupta. We were supposed to go to Advaita Acharya's place, but we didn't have time. And we went to Sailate. And as you said, in our various South India yatras, the first yatra we were following exactly in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And we began the yatra at Kurmakshetra, which is the first place that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes of Lord Chaitanya in his South Indian tour. That's where he met the Kurma Brahman. And then we went to Vishakhapatnam, Singhachalam, where Jiyada Narasimhadev is residing, always covered in sandalwood paste because he's still angry at Hiranyakashipu. And then we went to Vijayawada, on the banks of the Krishna River. And Vijayawada, we went to Mangalagiri, where Pana Narsingha is living, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there. And in all these places, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, he established Lord Chaitanya's footprints. And we went to Ahovalam. In our yatra, we went to all the 9 places of Ahovalam, all the every one of those temples. And I remember climbing the Ugra Stamba. And it was a windy day, and it was very, very dangerous. And that may be one of the scariest moments for me, because I feel responsible for all the devotees. And I didn't know how dangerous it was. And because I remember I had a muscle spasm in my back just on the way to Ahovalam, so I couldn't walk. So the brahmacharis were supposed to go first to Ugrastamba, but we ended up going the last day. And the first days, I remember Brisha Bhanu Prabhu and Kirtida Mataji, they came to me after the first day and said, "It's only by your mercy that we could do this." And they went all the way to the top of the Ugrastamba. And I was thinking, okay, it's Krishna's mercy. And so many people were saying that, old people, Radhakanta Prabhu, all these elderly devotees were going all the way to the top. And then the last day when it was our turn, that last phase when you have to cross that bridge of a rock way, 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 way up high, I was thinking, I'm not going to do this. It's too windy and it's too dangerous. But I was thinking, how could I not do it? Because everyone was saying that they only did it by my mercy, so I have to do it. So I realized it's definitely not my mercy, it's Krishna's mercy. And I was praying to Krishna. We made it to the top of the Ugrastamba, and that was just beautiful, Ahovalam. And then we went to Kavur, Vidyanagar, on the banks of the Godavari River, where Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya met Ramananda Rai. And for hours and hours, and I remember it was so hot that devotees were falling unconscious due to heat strokes while I was trying to speak the story of Ramananda Rai's discussion with Lord Chaitanya at the very place that this discussion took place. His Holiness Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Maharaj developed a beautiful ashram there. And then we went to Kanchi, to Vishnu Kanchi and Shiva Kanchi. Then we went to Tirupati and had wonderful darshans of Balaji. And in our many different yatras to Kanchipuram and Tirupati, sometimes we would speak about Ramanujacharya and Anandacharya in the very places where they performed their pastimes. And we went to Sri Rangam. And I remember during one yatra in Sri Rangam, the Acharya of Sri Rangam, the GR, he personally came on the stage and he arranged us to give our talks in the very same place that Ramanujacharya would speak to his disciples, right within the temple complex. And they said that's very rare that they give that place to anyone. But our devotees somehow melted their hearts, and the GR was on the stage, and Murli Bhatter, the descendant of Venkata Bhatta, and Parasara Bhatter's descendant, Narasingha Bhatter, they all came and they all spoke, and how they glorified Srila Prabhupada. They had elephants welcome us and give us garlands. And those beautiful bands with the horns. It was such a wonderful reception. And we went to Sri Purambudar, the birthplace of Ramanujacharya, and visited Madurai, the Meenakshi temple, and Tanjore. And when we went to Rameshwaram, the kathas we had in that temple of Rameshwaram were so, I'm not speaking about what was spoken at the katha, I'm speaking about the ambience and the reception of the local people and the love and heart-melting enthusiasm for all the devotees. It was just so beautiful. Everyone was sitting in the hallways of the parikrama within the Rameshwaram temple. And I remember we went to Danus Tirtha. And again, somebody said, this is Danus Tirtha. They brought us just to this place on the shore. And somehow or other, I was thinking, according to Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada says, anyone who goes to Danus Tirtha gets liberated. And it's the place where the Bay of Bengal and the Indian Ocean meet. So this, I only see one place. So we just started walking. None of us, nobody in that yatra had ever been there before, but we just decided we have to go to the place where there are two oceans meeting. So let's just walk. And we just walked in the sand and nobody had any idea what was going on. But we had kirtan, and it was during the day, it was in the sand, and we walked along the coast for probably an hour, hour and a half. I don't remember exactly, but then we saw in front of us the two oceans meeting. And that darshan, we had to pay a price where we were lost. We were kind of speculating, but we had trust that we would find it. It would be revealed to us. When we saw, though, it was the most beautiful sight that the heart could ever behold. And then we all went in, and I remember one devotee started drowning because of the cross currents and the whirlpools, and all devotees made a chain to somehow reach out to him and bring him back to the land. That was unforgettable, Danus Tirtha. And in South India, we went to Kanyakumari and the Adi Keshav temple, where Mahaprabhu found the Chaitanya, the Brahma Samhita. We recited it and spoke about it together. We bathed in the Payaswini River. Then we went to Tiruvananthapuram. In those days when we went, it was called Trivandrum, to the Ananta Padmanabh temple. And if, for those of you who remember, we went to Gokarna and we discussed the wonderful pastimes there. And we visited Udupi several times. One time when we went to Udupi, we also went to Hampi. And in Hampi, at Hanuman's birthplace on the top of the mountain, I remember we were giving lectures and monkeys were coming and just sitting and listening. A group of 3 huge white monkeys came and sat down right next to the devotees at the beginning of the lecture. And I think I spoke about 3 hours on Hanuman's pastimes. And as soon as I ended the lecture, the monkeys got up and jumped away. But they just patiently sat and listened to the lecture. It was quite miraculous, considering it's Hanuman's birthplace. In Udupi, we would meet Pejor Matswami. And he would arrange so many beautiful Vishwesh Tirtha. His Holiness Pejor Matswami was so kind and so gracious. And I remember on one event, we would always meet him and he would always give us special little talks and prasad when we were there. But on one occasion, he said that he was going to celebrate Lord Chaitanya's 500th. He would always glorify Srila Prabhupada. And he said he was going to have a Gaur Purnima special festival for the first time in history in the Udupi Krishna temple. We are so much missing the presence of Pejor Matswami. On a couple occasions, we had yatras to Nasik, to Paramhamsa Prabhu, and later Shikshastakam Prabhu, and all the devotees in Nasik would take such loving care of all of our devotees. And I'd like to conclude, believe it or not, I will conclude with just one special memory. The first time we went to Mayapur, I believe, we were in the town of Navadvip, and it was already night. And outside the complex of Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir at night in those days was considered not very safe also. We took a boat. All the devotees, I think there were 25 of us or something, we all took a boat from Navadvip to the dock at the end of Rudradvip or Mayapur. And by that time it was night. It was about 10 o'clock at night, and it was dark. And we were having kirtan back to the Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir. And on the way back, this is such a special thing. We were just passing various Gaudiya Mats, which are sacred places established by Srila Prabhupada's godbrothers. And at one Gaudiya Mat that we passed, a brahmachari came out and said, my Guru Maharaj really would like all of you to come up to his room. I turned around to whoever thought they were organizers of the yatra, and I said, should we go? And they said, no, we really can't go. It's already so late. And ISKCON Chandrodaya Mandir, Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir, it's so late. They lock their gates, and we can't do this to them. And the brahmachari said, but my Guru Maharaj really wants all of you to come up. So I said to the devotees, we'll just go up and offer obeisances to him, and then we'll go back. But we can't say no to one of Prabhupada's godbrothers. He's inviting us. So we went up and we crowded in his room, and there was His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj. And he was, at that time, he was in his 90s. He was quite old, and he was just laying in a bed, and we all crowded in his room around his bed. And somehow or other, when he saw us, he propped up, and he looked at us and smiled and spoke to us for about 2 hours. It was an incredible talk. It was in English. He was speaking in English, perfect English. And it was so full of rasa and so full of shastra and siddhanta. And he was quoting from Brahma Samhita and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and he was describing Mahaprabhu's pastimes and describing pastimes of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and describing Srila Prabhupada, our Srila Prabhupada's glories. And he went on for about 2 hours. And I remember, devotees who were trying to organize, they were looking. And I said, we can't leave, because I was thinking, if he pauses, we'll somehow or other tell him we could leave. But for those 2 hours, he didn't pause for a second. He just was a flow. It was like a Ganga during the monsoon season of Hari Katha. And it was just so beautiful and so wonderful. He just showered so much love and affection upon us. And I just remember this incident forever. I'll never forget this incident. When we finally left and we got back on the road, on that road back to Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir, I remember I looked at Krishna Chandra Prabhu, And Krishna Chandra Prabhu just smiled at me and said, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he really enthused his disciples to preach. And he was, with that innocent, loving smile, he smiled. Do you remember that, Krishna Chandra Prabhu? I don't think it's possibly forgettable.
I don't remember what I spoke, but I do remember that it was really an astonishing, to just hear such an elderly person. And where did he get this vigor and this knowledge and this clarity at that age? That was just incredible.
And the reason I want to tell this story is today is the appearance day of His Holiness Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj, for concluding with these beautiful memories.
I'm sorry for interrupting your schedule, Gauranga Prabhu, but if you want to capture the spirit of the yatra, I have to do these things.
The interview has to be in tune with Yatra. So, perfect, Maharaj. And just to remind you, Maharaj, that today, many of those who have supported the Vrindavan forest over the last 1 year, they are present with us and to fulfill your dream. And Krishna Chandra Prabhu is now going to share something about some of those things which they have contributed and an appeal for the future also. Over to you, Krishna Chandra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, first of all, deepest gratitude to this incredible session that you had. Really, it's just, I'm amazed at how much you remember such details. And I'm sure people have spent the whole night, with the far more details. And most of the details, and frankly, I couldn't remember. It's incredible how much it is so deep in your mind, especially all the places that you enumerated at the end. And my overriding impression of these yatras was that it only dawned much later. I mean, we were just going from year to year, and we didn't have an idea that there was a kind of a pattern or a vision and what it was accomplishing. It was like a wonderful occasion, very rare for us. But as we look back and we see that, how many devotees, the hearts have been transformed. And as the numbers grew, ironically, in spite of the in spite of the stricter rules, the numbers kept increasing even more. Normally, it could have been the other way around. People, because we said, okay, only 16 rounders should come. So devotees were starting to chant from 6 rounds to 16 rounds at least a couple of months before, and then during the yatra. So it was an incredible experience to see this, and we can see now how it has affected tens of thousands of people. And I remember one particular occasion when I don't remember when it was, but after several yatras, and then you ask for feedback, and of course everyone had wonderful arrangements, but till that time, wonderful experiences, but till that time the mood was that yatra has to be austere, so the prasad also is very simple. And you just completely made a paradigm shift, and you said, no, prasadam should be very, very, it's very important that devotees are have nice prasadam. And that was, and then Gauranga Prabhu, of course, was the one who really executed it to the perfection. And from that time on, it was, people were shocked that the prasadam was so wonderful, but that brought in the kind of inspiration to so many devotees. So when I look back, when I see that so many of Prabhupada's directives to us and the behavioral needs to become a devotee that he enumerated were being fulfilled, like a regulated lifestyle, we all together, regulated diet, also sattvic diet, the mood of cooperation, the mood of devotional service, everyone wanting to please the others, And you would always say that just leave aside all other aspects, just don't talk about business, don't talk about your other occupation issues. And then the discipline that it brought in, the unity and diversity was Prabhupada's theme and what he has shown the world. And you actually also brought in, because so many dozens of countries and dozens of cities were represented in the yatra. Most of us didn't know each other, especially in the last 15 years. But it didn't matter. In one sense, we didn't know, but in one sense, we knew each other very well. And that family bonding around Krishna, was such a joyful occasion. So, in fact, this, at least to me, it has dawned, when we're looking back and seeing that how did you accomplish by, it's like giving us something which was very nice, and we thought it was our sense gratification. Actually, we were getting purified also, and we just enjoyed taking, and of course the organizing that was Radhakrishna Prabhu and Abhiram Prabhu, and then later Sanat Kumar Prabhu, and Gauranga Prabhu, Shyamanand Prabhu, all Baldev Prabhu, and all got in. It was quite incredible. So I think it's been, we're deeply, deeply grateful to you, and we would hope that we would actually have these physical yatras in future. And also, so to that, I would like to just say that, Maharaj, we had last year when we started the Vrindavan Forest Sevak scheme, and we had made an appeal for devotees to kind of help to maintain the Vrindavan Forest and all the activities there, the Yamuna and the offerings, and none of us had in the wildest dreams felt, especially in the COVID year, that we would have the kind of response we got. Over 500 devotees actually contributed and took the maintenance to another level. It was a great help. So we are very deeply grateful to them, and we would, also kindly appeal to those who are inspired, if they feel privileged to participate in the future also for this coming year. Considering that the amount is quite modest in terms of the spiritual value that we get. Here, what is shown here is the Vrindavan Forest Sevak, which is a basic scheme. In case anybody is more keen to increase, and the Vrinda Devi Sevak, 25,000, Krishna Balaram Sevak at 50,000, and Nanda Yashoda Sevak at 1 lakh. Of course, it's we would be very happy to have the devotees themselves also come. And we're looking forward to devotees coming this Kartik month, and also this winter, as yet the international flow of devotees is going to be relatively less. So there is a great opportunity for beyond Kartik also for devotees to come and actually experience the GEV and the Vrindavan mood in the winter, which many, many devotees are taking up from all over the country. So at this stage, I'd just like Rasikacharya Prabhu, if you could, we have a very short promotional video to be played on the Kartik Mahotsav. Rasikacharya Prabhu.
Krishna, welcoming everyone to Vrindavan Forest Govardhan Eco Village. This year, for the pleasure of the devotees, we are celebrating Kartik festival. His Holiness Radhanath Swami expressed his desire that all devotees come here in groups and absorb themselves in the devotional atmosphere at Govardhan Eco Village, Vrindavan Forest. It is a place for devotees to go deep into their spirituality and experience Vrindavan. The morning program comprises of Mangal Aarti at Shishi Radha Vrindavan Bihari Temple and Shishi Madan Mohan Temple, followed by Japa session in Vrindavan Forest. We have a beautiful Yagya at the Yagyasthali, special Kartik Yagya, and followed by Darshanarti at Radha Vrindavan Bihari Temple, Darshanarti at Giriraj, and enchanting Darshanarti at Madan Mohan Temple, with elaborate sumptuous breakfast prasadam, and then all devotees will be ready for Krishna Katha from 10 to 11:30, followed by group activities, games, quiz, drama 11:30 to 1. After an elaborate lunch feast and rest, the evening program will enthuse the devotees and give them a beautiful experience of the holy dham of Vrindavan with Vrindavan forest tours, dham katha at different locations like Govindji, Nandgaon, Barsana, Gokul Mahavan, Shriji Mandir, Man Mandir. In the evening, we will have Yamuna Aarti, Govardhan Parikrama, Giriraj Aarti, and Damodar Ashtakam at Radha Damodar Temple with bhajans at Man Mandir. All devotees will get adequate opportunity to do Dham Seva in this holy Dham of Vrindavan. We welcome you once again to come and participate and experience the holy Dham of Vrindavan manifested at Govardhan Eco Village. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, we just at the end, we'd like to have your blessings, especially to these glorious devotees who have been helping us also, and many who will be coming for the upcoming yatra. Any concluding words that you have?
It would be incomplete unless we remembered what was like the mother of all yatras for our community, the Pune Yatra. For many years, we had three yatras a year. One during the Diwali vacation of Kartik, one during the summer vacation in April, May, and in the middle in January, we would have Pune Yatra. And Krishna Chandra Prabhu, Radha Priya Devi, and Priyavrat Prabhu, and Radha Devi, and Anjali or Karuna Manjari Devi, the whole family would open up their house for our whole community. It was a completely overcrowded Dharamshala guest house, during those 4 days of the Pune Yatra. There would be 20, 30, 40 people in each room, in each bedroom. But at the very beginning, it was only about 20 or 30 devotees, and the whole yatra took place in your living room. All the kathas and kirtans were in your small living room. And then it grew from there, and we went outside to your patio. And then it grew from there, and we went into your lawn. And it went from like 25 devotees at the beginning to about how many? 4,000?
About 4,800 at the end of the last year.
So let us say 5,000 devotees were coming. And it went on every single year for decades without fail. And such special guests we had during the Pune Yatra. Yamuna Devi spoke eloquently about Prabhupada. She sang wonderful kirtans. We had Giriraj Maharaj and Niranjan Swami Maharaj, and Dhananjay Prabhu would come, and Sachinandan Maharaj would come, and which other senior devotees would come? Bhakti Tirtha Swami.
Sridhar Maharaj also had come.
Sridhar Maharaj would come.
And Jayapataka Maharaj came at the end, the last year,
That's right.
after his serious illness.
Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj would come, and Jayadvaita Swami, Jayapataka Swami Maharaj would come. And the devotees, the feasts and the kirtans and the kathas, the purpose of all these yatras were to give us a chance to completely absorb ourselves in remembering Krishna and to unite on that principle. And this is the primary reason that Govardhan Eco Village has been offered. Srila Prabhupada and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and so many of our acharyas, they desired places that were replicas of original holy places. So Govardhan Eco Village, we created this Vrindavan forest, and so much effort went into making the Madan Mohan temple, which is an actual size replica. And even the Murti of Madan Mohan, Lalita, and Radharani are like identical. For the Prana Pratishta, we had the head pujari of Madan Mohan from Karoli come and teach us how to cook and teach us how to dress. And he offered the first arti. And I remember he cried and he looked at me and he said, 450 years ago, or 400 years ago, he said, Madan Mohan left Vrindavan and came to Karoli. But today, Madan Mohan has returned to Vrindavan. And this was coming from the head pujari of Madan Mohan. He's only, in 50 years, he's only left the temple twice. One time to come to Govardhan Eco Village for this event. And the Govindaji temple, and Radha Damodar temple, Radha Raman temple, Barsana, Shriji Mandir, Man Mandir. We've created these places, the places during our Vrindavan Yatras that are the most moving, most deeply transforming, and most spiritually uplifting places during our Yatras to Vrindavan. Keshi Ghat. We wanted Yamuna, and it seemed like an impossible situation, but by Radha Vrindavan Bihari's mercy, Yamuna Devi manifested right on our property. And what can I say? The installation of our deities, Madan Mohanji and Radha Vrindavan Bihari, we had Jananivas Prabhu and Pankajangari Prabhus, officiating the ceremonies. And we had Vrindavan forest was made for all of you, because we know how much the devotees look forward to going on pilgrimages to Vrindavan. And I hear from almost everyone over the years that these yatras that we go to the holy places, devotees practically live from yatra to yatra. They're just looking so much forward to leaving everything behind and just being with the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis and going to these holy places. It was so much a fusion which created the identity of all the devotees at Radha Gopinath Temple. The experience, the culture, and the tradition of being at these holy places. And I remember even up to the present moment, some devotees who do not have such large incomes, they would, throughout the year, they would save up to bring their whole family to the yatra. That was like the ultimate investment of their lives. And the brahmacharis who had to stay back to take care of the deities, it was always like the ultimate austerity. Yes, these yatras are very much the life and soul of our devotees. And Govardhan Eco Village was to give us an opportunity where there's a convenient place where we can have the exact same experience in the exact same places to come on a yatra. And there's nobody trying to get money from us, by cheating us and begging from us. And there's no monkeys to steal our spectacles or bite us. And there's no traffic and horns or loudspeakers blaring. There's no pollution. What Vrindavan was in 1972 and what Vrindavan was 500 years ago to the time of the Goswamis, and what Vrindavan was at the time of Radha and Krishna. Devotees gave their lives. Our brahmacharis and grihastas who were working, they just gave their lives to try to recreate that atmosphere. Not just for foreigners or guests or tourists. That's part of the Govardhan Eco Village. Part of the Govardhan Eco Village, it's an eco village because Srila Prabhupada really, really emphasized cow protection and environmentally friendly agriculture. These were two main themes of Srila Prabhupada. But creating places of pilgrimage was one of the 7 purposes of ISKCON. And devotees are coming from all over the world, and we're so happy with that. But the real heart of the Vrindavan forest is for our own congregation, for our own community of dedicated devotees, to consider it your home. And, whatever obstacles there have been as far as, the economics of making it totally accessible to every sincere devotee who wants to come, we've been striving to make it so that that's never, ever, ever an issue for anybody. We're really trying to do that so that everybody who sincerely, within our community of devotees, sincerely wants to come for this pilgrimage, counselor groups, families, individuals, whoever, yatras, sometimes, the Nasik Yatra, the Kolhapur Yatra, the Belgaum Yatra. We just want to make every type of combination of people coming. It's your home. It was built for you. And the cows are your cows. The holy places are your holy places. And as we accept responsibilities for the project, it really becomes even more intimately experienced. The mercy and the grace of Sri Radha Vrindavan Bihari Madan Mohan Srila Prabhupada. So I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful to everyone who is helping us to to preserve this wonderful Vrindavan forest, which I really pray that you feel at the core of your heart is a spiritual home for your families. Obviously, trying to balance living in the material world and spiritualizing it into the spiritual world, does require it requires people to contribute. And for so many years, Radha Gopinath Temple never asked for funds. And to this day, it's our great wish we never, ever, ever make money an issue or pressurize. But if it comes from people's hearts, and it's coming from inspiration, because there's a need, to preserve the Vrindavan forest. People like Gauranga Prabhu and Hari Priya Radha Devi and Shri Guru Charan Prabhu and Sanat Kumar Prabhu and the entire team, Vasudev Prabhu. It's too many people to say everyone, but they're just freely giving their lives to make this available to you. And I know Vishwarup Prabhu and Brajeshwari Prabhu, they come to give, they don't get paid, they just come and give, whenever they're called, and give talks. Devotees are sacrificing everything. And, I've sacrificed my life, so much of it, to make this dream into a reality. To have an experience of Vrindavan where we can be together and just discuss Krishna and chant the names of Krishna and be together for Krishna and Srimati Radharani in their abode. And it's accessible and it's for everyone. And in doing so, we develop a deeper and deeper feeling of separation from the original Vrindavan. And it's not meant to replace it. It's not meant to replace Vrindavan. It's meant to go deeper and deeper and deeper into the grace of Vrindavan. So thank you. And Krishna Chandra Prabhu and the whole team, these schemes that have been presented to you, it's really what it is. It's just an offering. It's an offering of an opportunity to serve. It's not begging for money. It's just offering an opportunity to serve. And if there's any begging, we're begging for people to accept this wonderful opportunity to serve. Thank you so very much. This is a wonderful event, and I see Vishwarup Prabhu smiling, so I know that Krishna's smiling and Radharani is blessing us. And during these yatras, yes, Shamananda Prabhu has been so instrumental, and Gauranga Prabhu, he took charge of the cooking, and Radha Bala Prabhu, just so much tears of love for him. He's an IIT graduate engineer. He could be making 6-digit salary anywhere in the world with his education and his skills. He was born close to Jagannath Puri, and he would spend so much of the year scientifically devising engineering recipes for the yatras. And he would practice on me on small doses because he would cook for me every day. And he would make all these recipes, and however many people, whether it's for one person or two people or 5,000 people or 10,000 people, any recipe, he's made it completely accessible. And, how the devotees, Damodar Prabhu, Gauranga Prabhu, what they did for the kitchen. And I'm remembering in the South India Yatra, incredible what they did. We'd be in a place, they'd set up an entire kitchen for, how many people were on that Yatra? About 3,000? And every day they'd have to put the entire kitchen to cook for 3,000 or 4,000 people. They'd have to put it in trucks and ship it to the next place. And we'd have dinner, and by the next morning, when we were in the next, we'd travel at night. When the next morning, when we arrive at the place, breakfast was ready, full feast, lunch was ready, dinner was there for everyone, for full satisfaction. Some devotees said it was the best prasad they ever had. And what can I say? The next day we'd go to sleep, and the kitchen crew would be in the trucks going to the next destination to find a field. They'd have to find a field and dig ditches and make fire pits. And a whole kitchen would be set up. And every other day the whole kitchen would be reconstructed. And it took months to plan and organize all of that. And nobody got paid a penny for it. It was seva, unconditional devotional service, just to give all the devotees the most pleasure in the yatra. And Hare Krishna Prabhu and others would, developing the sound system for this. And what I say is, we've spoke about the beginning days of the yatra was very small and, gradually growing. And we would just all go out together and just sit at the spot of the Leela and have the pastimes and have kirtan, then go to the next spot. And when the yatra grew, we have a stage and the main katha would be in the evening when everybody together was there. And there'd be like 5 or 6 or however many little groups, sometimes 10, going out in smaller buses to go to the individual places. But I can say that the large yatras, where we're all gathered together, how many people were at the last Vrindavan Yatra? I think it was 6,000 or 7,000 people.
Yeah.
8,000 people. I think someone told me 8,000 people were assembled every night in the kirtans and the Damodarastakams, and then smaller groups in the day. And the kitchens would be cooking all morning and making wonderful feasts. In my opinion, the yatras with the larger groups are much sweeter than the smaller yatras, because there's just so much more sacrifice and devotion that's put into these yatras. And everyone together, just having Hari Katha for hours in the evening and kirtans. It's very nice to miss the old days. It's very nice to feel separation from the sweetness and the intimacy of the smaller yatras. But it should be balanced with the great appreciation and celebration for the sweetness of the larger yatras, today's yatras. You didn't miss out on anything, because it's all here for us right now. It just gets better and better and better. And if we're thinking of pleasing Srila Prabhupada, which is watering the root of the tree of our spiritual lives, how much Srila Prabhupada is showering his blessings and his mercy when thousands of people are coming together for these pilgrimages. Thinking of Prabhupada's pleasure, how sweet it is. And the more, the sweeter, as long as we just preserve the spirit, the simplicity, that we're just there to unite with one another, with Srila Prabhupada's pleasure and Sri Sri Radha Gopinath's pleasure in the center of our hearts. And how wonderful it is. We could chant, we could dance, we could hear Krishna's pastimes, we could visit Krishna's places of pilgrimage. And in between these yatras, to your heart's content, devotees are offering you Govardhan Eco Village, your home. Thank you so very, very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Bihari ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ji ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Gopinath ki jai.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
And I'm seeing devotees from Pune. Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra. Radha Kant ki jai.
Shall we have Kirtan, Maharaj?
My pleasure. And there's one person who never, ever, ever missed any yatra. And that was Mahaprabhu Prabhu. Whatever the situation, he would always ride with the devotees. He was just an esteemed advocate, lawyer, established person. He always just wanted to be one of the devotees. Never missed a lecture, never missed a kirtan, he came with the devotees, he left with the devotees, and we're so much feeling separation from him and from Rasa Bihari Prabhu and Sarad Biharini Devi and to all the devotees who have departed from us this year, each one so dear to our heart. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine.
Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine.
Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatharine.
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatharine.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Brinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Jai Jai Radhe Jai Jai Shyam Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham
Jai Jai Radhe Jai Jai Shyam Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham
Jai Jai Radhe Jai Jai Shyam Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham
Jai Jai Radhe Jai Jai Shyam Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham
Jai Jai Radhe Jai Jai Shyam Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham
Jai Jai Radhe Jai Jai Shyam Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham
Jai Jai Radhe Jai Jai Shyam Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham
Jai Jai Radhe Jai Jai Shyam Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham
Jai Jai Radhe Jai Jai Shyam Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham
Jai Jai Radhe Jai Jai Shyam Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham
Jai Jai Radhe Jai Jai Shyam Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham
Jai Jai Radhe Jai Jai Shyam Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada.
Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo.
Jai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaur Hari Bo.
Jai Jai Shri Radhe
Radhe
Shyam. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patithanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Maharaj, would you have some time to interact with the devotees? Or
No questions,